you consider the dominant powers of college football, you must include the tradition-rich Clemson Tigers, a program that has been redefined by a member of the first family of college football. Tommy Bowden's theory of offense bears little resemblance to the storied teams of Clemson's past. The Tigers' all-out assault on the end zone is led by quarterback Woodrow Dantzler, who has thrust himself into the race for college football's highest honor. Make no mistake, these Tigers pack a punch that has them fighting their way to the top of the polls. Today, they face a Duke team that knows in its role of spoiler, they can send shockwaves through the ACC and the country with a victory. The home field may give second-year coach Carl Franks the motivation his team needs not only to play well, but also gain the respect of the Tigers and the rest of the ACC. ACC football returns to Jefferson Pilot Sports next.
Great day to have a ticket to an ACC football game. Not only is the weather good, but the curiosity factor is high. What is this Woodrow Dantzler all about? The Clemson quarterback will be on stage here within moments. Welcome to Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, where Jefferson Pilot Sports presents ACC football today. The unbeaten Tigers of Clemson take on the Duke Blue Devils. Good afternoon, everybody. Steve Martin here along with Doc Walker. And what a season it's been so far for the ACC. 3 unbeatens, and we get to see one here today.
And Chuck Amato in NC State, he has everybody there fired up. ACC is playing a high-quality level of football.
It's certainly one team that's played very high is Clemson, and of course Woody Dantzler was supposed to keep the seat warm between quarterbacks, but now he's being mentioned with Michael Vick in terms of the Heisman.
And it's a fair comparison. This young man has tremendous skills. Look at a week ago, 374 yards he accounted for personally. Now, of course, he has some help from the guys up front. Watch this guy work. He has all the quickness you need. I think quickness is more important than speed. He has both qualities, and of course, he can throw the football. Michael Vick, simply a freak. This young man does things that only maybe Dantzler can do. Makes people miss, and that, folks, is against the Seminoles.
Now, of course, the curiosity factor with Duke is present, too. They've got a new quarterback. First start today for D. Bryant.
Well, here's a young man that was voted most improved player in the spring. He'll need that. He's got quicks, and he'll have to avoid a rush.
Spencer Romine out with a concussion, so it's all D this afternoon. And speaking of D, we'll talk about defense with Mike Hogwood when we come back to Wallace Wade Stadium right after this.
ACC football is brought to you by Bank of America, proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team for 2000 and beyond. By Dodge. In a perfect world, everything would be different. By Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. By Ice House. Ice House style is about making a good time better with the smooth, never watered down taste of Ice House. By Sleep In. The next time you travel, stay at Sleep in a class by itself. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Great to be with you for another season of ACC football with Jefferson Pilot Sports, and let's send it to the sidelines for a man who's been roaming there for the last 11 years, Mike Hogwood.
Thanks, Steve. Boy, it's great to be back for another season. Duke and Clemson, you talk about Clemson, the offense gets all the headlines, but this defense is pretty good. They got speed, they got quickness. Most of all, they are tenacious, ferocious hitters. The offensive coach, Tommy Bowden, knows they are important.
Well, if we're ever going to get to the next level, it has to be done defensively. When we can jump into the top 10 of the nation in scoring defense, then I think we'll have a better chance to take the next level in wins, go to the next level in wins and losses.
Well, they have moved into the top of the country. They're #2 right now behind Kansas State in defensive stats, and that man, Keith Adams, is one of the reasons why. 1999, an All-American. He's in the Football Hall of Fame this year. They put 10 players from 2000 active in the Hall of Fame. He's one of them. He'll be leading the Tigers defense today. Duke wants to shock the world. Can they do it? We'll see. Duke and Clemson kickoff coming up.
There's nothing that replaces the apprehension, the focus, the faces of college football on a Saturday afternoon, and then maybe qualities that may be shown at some point in time. The Duke Blue Devils, of course, come in here as heavy underdogs, 0-4 against the Clemson Tigers. This series record at Duke, it's tied up. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, the Duke Blue Devils beat the Clemson Tigers here. Clemson has won 16, however, of the last 19. And Clemson has won the opening toss, and they are going to kick off. They're deferring their option to the second half, and that's Tony Lazzara, who's going to kick it off for the Clemson Tigers out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And deep to receive, Chris Douglas is the deep back along with Kyle Moore. And Devin Pierce is up shallow. We are just about ready for ACC football on a Saturday afternoon. Glad to have you with us. Beautiful day for it, and there's the kickoff. And Douglas will take it about 5 yards deep, and he won't be coaxed to stop. Out to the 5, down to the 10, and at the 16-yard line, brought down, but we have a flag down at the 10-yard line behind the return. It's going to be marked down to the 11. Jim Knight is our referee today. So as they wait for them to march this off and see where Duke is going to start off. Here's a look at our Geico starting lineups. For the offense, for the Duke Blue Devils, as we wait for the penalty to come off, Dwayne Epperson, of course, at running back, Pierce at fullback, Erdeljak and Hartofelis will start, but we'll see a lot of Kyle Moore and Mike Hart at tight end. And of course the offensive line, Andrews and Lynch in the middle of it. Lynch a late starter at center. John Miller's a good one at right guard. It was a hold against Duke. That'll back them up. 1st and 10 from their own 6-yard line. Dee Bryant, first time around as a starter. His first ball is a pass that has a little bit too much air underneath it. And it is Erdeljak, the intended receiver. So we take a look at the Clemson starting lineup. And Doc, this is an impressive group, especially with Nick Easton and Terry Jolly along that right side. Big penetrators. These guys try to reestablish the line of scrimmage. That's what they're excellent at. Linebackers, Chad Carson. Keith Adams is a great one. We talked about him in the pregame. Werewolf. Yeah. But secondary, again, big hitters. Carswell in particular, we'll keep our eye on him. Both Hafley, Audley, and Crutchfield had a great week against Virginia. Here comes the handoff on 2nd down and 10. And it is going to be Dwayne Epperson. Moves his way out to the 10-yard line, a gain of about 4. Quarterback Dee Bryant. And Bryant is a sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan. 9 out of 30 so far this season. Some drop balls in there and a couple of interceptions as he came in relief of Spencer Romine, who suffered concussion against Vanderbilt last week. Paul Franks knows that this season and probably next will be struggles for his team as he tries to get the type of recruits that he wants for his program and get his offensive philosophy totally dictated to these players. They're looking at 3rd down now and 7. That's what you got to stay out of, is 3rd and 7. That's right. And now we've got a stoppage here, and it could be a delay of game penalty, but we'll see what's going to go on. They might not have made the play clock in time. So a slow start expected for this young team. There's Bobby Campbell standing next to Carl Franks. Shows his obvious displeasure with the way this first offensive series has turned out. Well, it started on special teams. You start the game off going backwards. That's 2 miscues now in less than a minute. So 3rd down over, 3rd down and about 12. Back at the 4-yard line. Tough spot to put this man into. And this is Bryant stepping up in the end zone. Passes across the grain to Kyle Moore. A little bit of running room out to the 14-yard line. It's good for 10 yards. Alex Ardley in on the tackle for the Clemson Tigers, but it's not enough for a 1st down. Well, he's shown that he's cool under pressure. I mean, it's no worse situation than to be in your own end zone trying to come out, but the kid didn't show any panic, and that's something that they can build on. Joe Don Reams is back to accept the punt of Brian Morton. Reams, of course, excited Clemson fans with a 69-yard punt return against Virginia. They wound up tying the score en route to a 31-10 win. Reams will pick this up, goes at the 40. There's a flag on the play, and he's going to be driven out of bounds in Duke territory at the 45-yard line. And this is going to be not giving enough room for Reams to receive the kick. So this likely is going to go against Duke. But we'll wait for the call from interfering in the zone. Looked like Kevin Youngblood for Clemson did a pretty decent job. I don't know. Let's see if the helmet was on backside of the numbers. Jim Knight consulting with his crew. Let's watch Joe Don Reams and look how much room. Now, do you hit the player into him? I mean, is that
involuntary? Are you getting into his space? This will be interesting.
Now it's going to be against Clemson. So I think what you talked about, Doc.
And Youngblood's movement.
That's right.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team, 10 yards, first down.
Let's take a look at the Clemson starters. Of course, the receivers in the back, Zachary with 16 touchdowns a year ago, Gardner and Woodward when they use a tight end. Up front, it's Watkins, Merritt, Kyle Young, ACC Lineman of the Week, Mulgros and McDermott.
Rated 93% in film studies. That's awesome.
1st and 10. Handoff now goes to Travis Zachary, and Zachary cuts all the way up to the 40-yard line, and it's a nice gain of about 8 yards for Zachary, who's the 4th leading ground gainer in the ACC. Defensive line, Troy Austin, Tyron Grissom, and of course Todd DeLamelore is a good one. The inside linebacker. The deep backs, Hamilton is a veteran. Kreider was a replacement last year. 2nd down and 3.
Ryan Fowler too, but you see a lot of that young man again, freshman at linebacker.
Dantzler on his own around the right side. He's got the 1st down, and he'll be knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Tackle made by Derek Lee, but we see the talent of Dantzler.
Steve, no one's been able to figure this system out as of yet, but one of the indicators is the guards for Clemson. Usually they'll be out in terms of being a personal protector for the quarterback. Now, nobody's been able to kind of use that to their advantage, but it's one of the things that we'll cover this afternoon.
It's the hurry-up offense, the hit 'em and get 'em. No huddle. Wait to see what the defensive personnel is. Rolling left is Dantzler to the flats. It is incomplete, and it is intended for Justin Watts.
Yeah, Watts has good hands. That's one that he ought to catch. Dantzler had a lot of real estate. You know, he could have made up his mind to just tuck and run. He picks up 10.
Talked with defensive coordinator Bob Trott yesterday, and he says he's got to hope that Dantzler makes some mistakes in the calls that he makes today.
Well, 2.7 seconds in terms of release. I mean, there's not a lot of time in that. Woody's done a great job.
5 wideouts for Clemson here on 2nd down, and Dantzler has to eat the football as he tried to head back to the line of scrimmage. Hit first by Troy Austin. Grissom was also in there. Good pursuit by the Duke defensive line. That'll cut him off to a 1-yard gain.
Steve, great penetration. Also keeping him on the inside shoulder. That is pivotal. You can't allow this guy to get outside because of his great speed. Excellent job by Duke.
3rd and 12. Dantzler rolling left again. Stands in there. Now is sacked and brought down.
Ball's out.
And it looks like it's going to be Duke ball.
Boy, you get a hit and a strip on a play. I mean, that's the only way you attack the Clemson Tigers. You got to go in with reckless abandon. I mean, that was an outstanding job again by Bob Trout's men in blue.
And it's going to be a 4th down. Ball maintained possession-wise by Clemson, but the tackle made by Charles Porter jarred the ball loose.
Well, you couldn't ask for anymore. That's an outstanding attack on the football. Good press.
Here comes Jamie Somaini in for the punt. Low snap and gets it away. Ronnie Hamilton is going to get away from it wisely, and it rolls dead at the 10-yard line. So a good turn of events. A 54-yard pick by Somaini, and Clemson goes 3 downs and out. First time with the ball. It's scoreless here in the 1st quarter at Duke. No score here in Durham. ACC fans join host Bob Rathman and Jamie Dukes every Monday night at 7 for the only show that's 100% Atlantic Coast Conference. This week on ACC Live, Chapel Hill is the scene for this week's hot ticket as Georgia Tech and UNC square off on the gridiron. Check your local regional sports network listing. Now Dee Bryant back out as his defense has been very stout. The Duke defense looked good that first series. Now let's see if the O with a little bit more operating room and get going. With a toss inside, it goes to Douglas. He'll turn the corner and get a 1st down. Knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line by Darrell Crutchfield and also Braxton Williams, but a nice gain on the play of 12 yards for Chris Douglas.
And I love the call. Take advantage of a defense that has a strong upfield rush and get the ball to Douglas. Douglas averaging 4.3 yards a run. So you got an alleyway right in there. That's exactly where you want to be. And you get outside of the All-American and you make somebody pay a price. That's outstanding on offense.
Biggest play from scrimmage for either side right now. Fumble on the snap, and it's covered up very nicely inside there by Drew Stroney, who is in there at the offensive left tackle.
The snap never got back to D. Bryant.
Again, that's where Duke has to guard itself. They cannot afford to self-destruct.
11 turnovers, Doc, in 4 games.
Yeah. Hard to win a game with those numbers.
And they're going up against a team that has scored 69 points on turnovers as opposed to 10 given up.
And that's why I love this Clemson team. I mean, they make you pay for it.
They made Missouri pay for 34 points on turnovers. A lot of movement, blitz inside. B. Bryant gets away from one. The pass into the flats is knocked away, intended for Hartopolis, and it's knocked away by Darryl Crutchfield.
Oh, Hartopolis has got to come back to that football. He's got to put himself on defense if the ball is not going his way. And you wonder why the young freshman starting. This is a reason why. Look at Adams, the ultimate sack master in the ACC. Bryant's able to get outside of him, and Bryant will definitely have to use his legs today, Steve.
He will. To get rid of that man who has 3 sacks so far. He had 4 against Duke last year. A 58-7 annihilation of the Blue Devils at Death Valley.
Plays with great passion.
3rd down and 10. No score here in Durham. D. Bryant again blitzed by the linebackers. Gets out of the pocket. Has some time. And it's finally brought down out of bounds. And actually won't be much of a loss there at the 21-yard line. Braxton Williams and Chad Carson chased him out of bounds. So it'll bring up 4th down. 3 downs and out for the Duke Blue Devils. Or actually 4 downs as they get 1 first down on the first play from scrimmage. And Brian Morton in for the 2nd punt of the day.
But it's still a good series offensively for Duke because you made Clemson chase you. Now they're accustomed to going against Simmons and going against Woody in practice, so they're accustomed to it. But this has puts Duke in a good position.
Here comes the punt by 6'6" Brian Morton, and getting away from it is Joe Don Reams, and downing it there is going to be the kicker Morton at the 41-yard line. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the ACC and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. 43-yard kick for Brian Morton, no return, and Duke will go on defense. Clemson will pick the ball up at their own 41-yard line. And there's Woodrow Dantzler. Against Citadel, hits 16 of 17 passes. 5 wideouts, he's back to throw. Now rushes up inside and gets dropped eventually by Tyron Grissom. But again, it's evident, Doc, that Duke is trying to stay disciplined and keep Dantzler inside.
And they're doing a great job at it. Their corners are also doing a pretty good job because they took away his initial receiver. 2nd
down, about 7 on a gain of 3. Open backfield. Zachary actually a receiver, and a scripted run for Dantzler that is shut down quickly by Todd DeLamelore. DeLamelore, along with Kendrell Knight, one of the only 2 returning linebackers for the Duke defense. Let's get down to the sidelines of Mike Hogwood.
Steve, Bob Trott, the defensive coordinator, is on the sidelines for the first time since 1982. Feels he has to because of this young defense. And boy, was he proud of them in the first series. He did exactly as he wanted him to do, exactly as it was scripted.
3rd down and 5 for Clemson. No score, and a strike to Rod Gardner is complete for the first down in Duke territory down to the 37-yard line. It's a 17-yard gain as Dantzler hooks up with Rod Gardner.
Gardner picks up his 18th reception on the season. I mean, the ball was right where it needed to be. DeLamelore had his hands up. Here we get a chance to watch it. Basic little slant shows. I mean, that's good throw and catch. Good execution.
1st and 10 for the Tigers. Fake the handoff to Zachary, and now here's Dantzler trying to get outside. DeLamelore with 1 hit, and then finally Anthony Roberts will drive him out of bounds. And it's going to be a gain to the 35-yard line. It's a pickup actually to the 32, so it's a pickup of 5 yards.
You got a lot to think about, but one of the things we've tried to keep our eye on are both guards and try to figure out where the guards pull. And you'll see a protector here right to your right, and that's usually where Woody will be. Now that time that was just good defense.
Travis Zachary this time downfield, and he's open at the 10-yard line and knocked out of bounds at the 5.
It's a gain of 27 yards for Travis Zachary. Anthony Roberts with a touchdown-saving tackle inside the 10 at the 5-yard line.
27 yards on the gain. Now let's watch and figure out how many yards Zach picks up following contact, because Duke's in pretty decent position right there. That's 2 tackles, so the guy maybe picks up 4, and his athleticism takes it to 27.
First and goal from the 5-yard line. Witherspoon lines up at fullback out of a classic eye. It goes to Zachary. He gets inside the 5 to the 2. Ament is there on the tackle with Porter, and also getting up is going to be number 35, and that is Matt Zielinski, outside linebacker.
Will Merritt and T.J. Watkins for the Tigers up front. Nice job on the combo block.
Clemson's hurry-up offense. Rarely does Dantzler get under center, but he's there now. Zachary headed for the end zone. Grabbed from behind by Porter and Zielinski. And looks like he's very close. He made it in. Touchdown for Travis Zachary, and the Tigers are on the board. A 1-yard run by Zachary, and the Clemson Tigers get on top here 6-0. Here goes Zachary back to the sidelines. This is 6th, actually 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Aaron Hunt in for the point after. He's 22 of 23 out of the hold of Jeff Scott, who is the son of tight ends coach Brad Scott on the Clemson staff, former head man at the University of South Carolina. 7-0 with the kick after touchdown by Aaron Hunt. The Clemson Tigers on the lead. Will return after these messages from your local ACC station. Clemson on top 7-0. Let's look how it happened.
Again, strong play up front, the offensive line. These guys aren't the biggest group in the country, but they might be the toughest.
Nice reach over there by Travis Zachary at the last second to break the play. The scoring drive. West 7 plays, 59 yards. Zachary with 32 of the 59 yards. And here's the ensuing kickoff. It'll roll out of bounds in the end zone for a touchback. And that's where Duke will get it 1st and 10. Their best field position of the day as a result of the touchback. 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. So Dee Bryant comes back out. After the baptism of the first 2 drives. There's the scoring drive once again. 7 plays, 59 yards. Zachary a 1-yard touchdown run. His 5th touchdown run of the season. And of course Duke talking things over on defense. Clemson really hurried things up on him that time. 1st and 10. And getting it over quickly is going to be Terry Bryant. Now, was he drawn? He made contact with the Duke player. Terry Bryant got into the neutral zone, and Jim Knight has the call.
Dead ball. Defense offside. 5-yard penalty.
With a word on Duke's quarterback Dee Bryant, here's Mike Hogwood.
Well, imagine how tight he must be after starting, been out of football for a year. He is much more relaxed now over on the sidelines. And remember what Carl Franks told us yesterday. He feels Dee Bryant's going to have to put it up top, stretch this defense for Duke's offense to move the football.
He's tried that once. He could be up to it again. Stands in the pocket and throws behind Kyle Moore, who hadn't made his cut yet. Protected out there by Alex Ardley. It is incomplete.
3 fingers like he thought it was a 3 route. Something to do with an outside break. I agree with Mike Hogwood. I also think that Dee Bryant's got to use his legs more. He's got to take advantage. He's got to put pressure on the Tiger defense, take advantage of their great upfield pressure.
205, 21 yards for Bryant. Handoff deep. Epperson twists and turns his way to the 27-yard line. And he's brought down inside there by Nick Eason. Terry Jolly getting up out of there, and Robert Carswell as well. And Carswell is a story in itself. He's #1 free safety in the country, according to Sporting News. Led Clemson defensive backs in career tackles with 309. 3rd down and 3 for the Blue Devils. Trailing here 7-0. Clemson will send 1. Bryant hangs in, throws for more, and he had a step on Ardley, but too much air under the ball by Dee Bryant.
Now, again, you have a 3rd and 3. You want a higher percentage attempt. I mean, I like the fact that you're willing to stretch it, but you want to keep the chains moving. You want to give your defense a chance.
A chance to rest.
Yeah, you got to give them a chance to win the game.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not in this just to play well enough to be competitive. You want to try to win the game.
Here comes Morton on 4th and 3, his 3rd kick of the day. And Joe Don Reams looks into a tough sun and picks it up at the 27. Reams brought one back for a score last week. This time he'll be brought out to the 41-yard line after a 46-yard kick. A 14-yard return by Reams. Clemson up 7-0. They'll have the football when we come back to Durham. Which single-season football team is the best in league's history? You decide. Go online at jpsports.com. Vote for the team of the century. Brought to you by Sleep In. When you vote, you may be a weekly winner of 2 free nights at any Sleep In and enter to win a grand prize drawing for 7 nights at any Sleep In. You can also vote by mail. Send your selection to the address you see on the screen. Make your choice for the team of the century. Presented by Sleep In. This week's winner of 2 free nights at any Sleep In is Jason Harms of Louisville, Mississippi. Welcome back to Durham. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, Mike Hogwood. ACC football with Clemson leading here 7-0. Woodrow Dantzler has been efficient, not spectacular, but there's more to come. 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line as the Clemson Tigers up on a Travis Zachary touchdown.
He's tried to be spectacular. It's been the Duke defense that's denied him.
Duke defense is playing pretty good. Can they continue that fine play? Dantzler. High snap, handoff to Travis Zachary. He cuts up inside and drags people over midfield into Duke territory. Brought down on the play by Ryan Fowler, a true freshman, along with Josh Kreider. There are 34 true freshmen or redshirt freshmen on this Duke lineup on the roster, and a lot of them find their way into the 2 deep.
And that'll pay off. We watched Wake Forest go through a similar evolution, but you got to be patient with it.
1st and 10, the 12-yard gain. High snap, Dantzler following his block, and he'll get up to the 43-yard line, brought down there by Josh Kreider.
Real good contain. Again, the tough part about playing an elusive quarterback defensively is that you have to slow your motor down because you have to play responsibility defense. You just can't go nuts. And that time, again, Duke kept him on the inside shoulder.
And then you have an additional challenge, Doc. You got to watch 4 and sometimes 5 wide receivers.
Well, that's constant with Clemson.
They got 3 out this time, rather conservative this time around. 2nd down and 5. Rambert is back there in the backfield. Dantzler fakes the pass, and he's on his way. Now that's bordering on spectacular.
Well, no
35-yard line.
See, and that's what I was talking about with Bryant. That on a 3rd and 3, I'd kind of like to see him take on a similar posture. Now watch this. He makes a quick decision, like right about now. He's out of there, gang. He's going to tuck that ball and go north-south, move the chains.
And he also knows that he's got some protection out there with Rambert.
Well, he spread you out. That's the whole premise in this. If you put 4 wide receivers out, you loosen up the defense, then he picks the seams.
Woodrow Dantzler from Orangeburg, South Carolina. He's a junior. He was supposed to keep the seat warm between Brandon Streeter and a guy they've got on the roster, Willie Simmons. We might see this afternoon. Who knows? 1st down and 10 at the 35-yard line of Duke. Back to throw. Dantzler, big rush is on. He's hit as he threw. He made the pass complete to Bailey, but did he? Might have scuffed the ground before it got in his hands, but huge pressure by Ryan Fowler.
Well, Ryan's a young man I mentioned in the open. We expected to see Ryan play. Ryan's a 4'6" man in the 40, 223 pounds, a freshman. Has some track in his background. One of the reasons I think he's on the field is because of his athleticism.
And the speed that he got to the quarterback that time forced the bad throw by Dantzler, who's in the 2nd and 10. Tigers now with 2 men back in the backfield. Here comes a handoff. It goes to the fullback Witherspoon. And Witherspoon chugs his way to the 30-yard line, and again Fowler on the tackle.
Oh, Spoon, man. Spoon got those pads low. I like a big guy fullback. Can't go down with arm tackles.
Of course, the opposites attract. You see the records are opposite and the points per game. Duke hasn't scored many.
Looks like a typo, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Clemson 4th in the nation, and they're 2nd in the nation in defense. And the Tigers have or Blue Devils rather, have given up only 26 in the last 2 after giving up some big scores in their first 2 games. 3rd down now and 6. Dantzler. 3-step drop, pass to Bailey, complete. And Bailey, looking for extra room, has the 1st down and a little bit more at the 20-yard line. Brought down Randy Ament, also in on the play, Jamion Small and Ronnie Hamilton, but a flag is thrown back at the 36-yard line, and it could go back.
Well, there's some pressure. Again, that's the 4th hit on Dantzler and the quarterback in the pocket. So Duke is putting some pressure on, and they're more than competitive on 3rd down. And they may have, Doc, induced this penalty, which looks like it's going to be a preliminary indication of a hold against Clemson.
Holding.
Good call, Steve.
I had help. Our statistician Freddie Kiger picked that one up. Can't take credit where I don't get it.
One thing about it, when they're holding you, that means you're pretty doggone effective. Inside game right there. See, that's what happened. They ran a little X game, and it looked like Charles Porter took the inside route and crossed with Grissom, and they were pretty effective in that.
Clemson hasn't been in this situation too often. 3rd and long, up by a touchdown. Looking at 3rd and 15, they're back at the 40. Back to throw with time to do so, and the pass is bobbled. Does it get picked up? No, it's going to be ruled incomplete. Wow, Jackie Robinson, the sophomore from Orangeburg, South Carolina, almost had himself a big strike, but couldn't contain it.
And Coach Boughton goes, man, that's what we wanted. Caught him in a bit of blitz. Again, snap a little to the left. You check his arm strength, the ball is there.
Wow.
Man, that's a big-time collegiate throw. And Robinson, who has excellent hands, we watch this again, tried to keep the concentration. Upon impact, he lost the football.
Sumani back to punt. Hamilton calling, says get away from it. And Clemson will knock it back. That's Witherspoon tracking it down to the 18-yard line. So it'll be a 20-yard kick, but more importantly, it hems the Blue Devils inside the 20. As we look at the ACC standings, we see league action starting to pick up. Florida State with their win over Maryland, now to 5-0, 3-0 in conference play. Clemson with 2 victories in conference, Virginia and Wake Forest. NC State won their first conference game. They play Clemson next week. North Carolina playing in conference play this afternoon against Georgia Tech. 8 miles away in Chapel Hill. 1st and 10. Duke at their own 20-yard line. D. Bryant checking off.
They need some success on 1st down.
They clock down to 4, but he'll get away safely. 3-step drop and a pop. And popped in the back is Ertlejack. Well, that's Hartopolis, and it's going to be Alex Ardley covering defensively.
Well, Keith Adams is a young man that has no problem making his presence known. Watch him turn the corner, lower those pads, and let you know he's there.
Sometime this afternoon we'll have to give you some of Keith Adams' very vivid descriptions of
just love
success in tackling. Look at his stats right now. 12.5 a game. He's 2nd in the ACC. 2nd down and 10. Fullback moves in motion. Naked sweep, and nobody out there to greet him except Bryant, and guess who? Keith Adams. Actually, that was Bryant McNeil who made the first direction of Bryant into the arms of Keith Adams for a 5-yard loss.
Here comes the werewolf. Now watch the eye. See, he's in a bit of a game. You know, gets out of the garbage. Now watch him accelerate. There he goes. There he gets the hit. And this guy has great passion for the game, man. Loves it, and he loves contact.
Bryant McNeil helped direct things inside, the sophomore. 3rd down conversions. Duke looking for their first one. 3rd down and 14, back at the 16-yard line. Clemson rushing hard at first. Let's see, they got a blitz on. Is there a flag on the play? No, they just got in there good and sacked him to the 9, actually the 8-yard line. Braxton Williams blowing through. It was a jailhouse break for Clemson to get inside. Adams cheers the defense on as they force Duke into their 4th punt of the day.
You don't want to be in 3rd and 14, and here's why. Because they can bring Carlson up the middle. They bring the werewolf on the other end, and they're all over the place. These linebackers, Williams and Adams and Carson, I mean, they are nasty.
2nd time today, Doc, that they have gotten in with excellent timing on the blitz. End over end, and this one is going to come to rest at the 39-yard line. It's not a very good kick for him. 31-yard punt.
Steve, it's all attributed to the lack of production on first down for Duke offensively. They're 0 for on first down. You have got to do something to get the momentum started. This offense will be trailing the entire afternoon if they don't produce more on first down.
Next weekend, next Saturday, as a matter of fact, and most of these same stations will take you to Charlottesville, Virginia, where the Maryland Terrapins will be looking for a little bit of revenge against the Virginia Cavaliers. You'll see it at 12 noon on most of these same stations. A little flare pass is caught, and it is complete to Jackie Robinson, but a flag down on the play at the 36-yard line. JT Cape in the vicinity. And a lot of flags here in the early going. That's the 4th on this will be the 5th against Clemson if it indeed is against the Tigers, and Tommy Bowden's expression indicates that.
Justin Watts was on the edge. I thought he had a pretty decent block. Now let's find out if it was a legal block.
Holding beyond the line of scrimmage, 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Top penalty for the Tigers will drag them back out of Duke territory here, or very close to it. Get out to the 48-yard line. It's the 4th penalty of the day against the Tigers. It's first down. About 17.
Yes, it slows down their momentum. They hate it. They want to keep a fast-paced tempo.
Here's Dantzler with a play fake and a run. Again, getting some yardage inside and eluding tacklers. And this time gets Josh Kreider to bring them down at the 36-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 17 on the play.
Now, we talked about Woody and Michael Vick in the open, and here's why. And this young man should be down. Could be down right there. That's twice. He makes people miss. He creates offense. I mean, with his athleticism and his passion, I mean, this guy, he is a tough hombre to bring down.
12-yard gain actually on the play. Brings up 2nd down and 6 at the 35. Hand off to Witherspoon, the big fullback, 255 pounds. Chugs his way to a first down at the Duke 25-yard line.
Spoon. I like Witherspoon. I like big guys in the running back position that will lower their pads. See, he tries to take away the body. Watch him here. Good blocks downfield. I mean, that's a rough load to deal with.
Harry Witherspoon, quite a story in his 5th year at Clemson.
Good block by Gardner on the outside. So,
first and 10. Clemson with the ball at the Duke 26-yard line. Dantzler takes the handoff, still has it. Gets outside the end, and he's on his way. Breaks another tackle. Roberts jarred him from his balance, and he fell down at the 10-yard line. DeLamielleure made sure he stayed down, but not before Woody Dantzler picked up 16.
Well, you had the big fullback, the big hoss in the middle, Witherspoon. Now watch the fake. See, that frees you. You're DeLamielleure. Uh-oh, no, he didn't have it. Now you got to grip yourself, and you get good blocks. See, Clemson stays up. See, the white shirts are up, and the blue shirts are on their bellies.
Zachary out of the standard eye. And he gets his way down to the 12-yard line. Actually, Dantzler's gain was 12, and the gain here is 2. So it'll be 2nd down and 8.
That man in our screen, Mr. Bowden, believes in conditioning. And you know what? You have to be in top condition to play in this scheme.
End of the first quarter, the Clemson Tigers are up on a Travis Zachary touchdown. They are up 7-0 here over the Duke Blue Devils, and they're pushing for another score at the Duke 12 as we turn to the 2nd quarter. Clemson up 7-0 as we get set to take the turn into the 2nd quarter. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, and Mike Hoggle for another season of ACC football from Jefferson Pilot Sports. Glad to bring it to you on a beautiful day. Temperature near 70 degrees. Last day of September. And right now, Clemson Tigers are knocking on the door. They are 2nd down and 8 at the 12-yard line. Woodrow Dantzler is starting to make his presence felt in this football. 4 wide outs for the powerful Clemson Tiger offense. He'll take it straight up the gut. That's what Duke's been giving him. And he'll get into the end zone for a touchdown. Woodrow Dantzler. You want to keep me on my inside shoulder, then fine. But a flag is down. However, let's wait.
Oh, buddy.
Flag is down at the line of scrimmage almost at the 12-yard line.
looks like it's going to be against Duke.
Disregard the penalty. There were 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
Disregard the penalty. Enough men on the line of scrimmage, and so the Clemson Tigers score.
Hey, it puts you in a false sense of security. You say zero backfield. There's nobody there. Look at the cross blocks. Maybe put a little grab on DeLamielleure. But the bottom line is that Dantzler's where he's very accustomed being in the end zone.
It's his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. Aaron Hunt out of the hold of Jeff Scott. The kick is up and it is good, and the Clemson Tigers lead extends to 14. Travis Zachary with the first touchdown, Woodrow Dantzler with the second. A 12-yard run with 14:55 left to go here in the second quarter at Durham. Talking back to Durham, Bob Trott, the defensive coordinator, talking things over with his defense, and the thing they've got to defend is Woodrow Dantzler. Scoring drive, 5 plays, 39 yards. Took him only 2:18 to do it after a short punt set them up at the Duke 41-yard line. And Woodrow Dantzler, the 12-yard run, his 6th touchdown run of the season. He's the game's leading rusher with 59 yards so far. As Kyle Moore waits for the kick.
Bob Trott's biggest assignment now is to not let his guys get demoralized. You got to keep the spirits high.
Duke offensive average starting possession is at the 14-yard line. They'll get this on the kick. Moore at the 16. Penalty flag. And let's see, Moore up to the 21-yard line. We have a penalty flag, however, back at the 35-yard line of Clemson. So this may be against the Tigers as they talk it over.
I don't know.
Let's see what it's going to be. Duke's backing up, and there's 2 flags. One was back at the 35-yard line, and then there's one closer to where the ball was received. Carl Frank's looking on.
That would be their 2nd penalty on kickoff return.
So it looks like they'll offset. Fans, log on to jpsports.com and check out our new fan shop. We have a great selection of merchandise from every ACC school. The best news is you pay no shipping charges for your order. Get a head start on your Christmas shopping and visit our fan shop today at jpsports.com.
That's a heck of a deal.
It sure is. Skip the shipping charge.
Maybe we'll get our producer, Scott Snyder, a gift for Christmas. No,
maybe we won't.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
So the penalty's offset. We're going to re-kick. And Carl Franks is sitting there saying, well, maybe we could get down to the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at these first quarter stats, and they tell a stark story for the Duke Blue Devils. -7 yards rushing.
That's not good.
113 yards rushing for Clemson, 59 to Woody Dantzler. Starting field position has been a factor too.
That's the key.
And only 1 first down for the Duke Blue Devils, 6 for the Clemson Tigers. They're not moving the chains, and they're not getting it in good real estate.
And we put a lot of pressure on Bryant. Young quarterback, feeling his way. He is not panicked, but I do believe that maybe they had to reduce the offense even more, you know, and get a few basics going, like on first down, and just get his confidence going. I like the kid. I mean, he can scramble. He's got a nice arm. I definitely think he's got a future.
Well, he's going up against the 2nd best defense in the country. So it's
always that way.
It's always that way. Right? Lazzari is getting set to kick off. Lazzara, rather. Lazzara. It looks like it's.
Looks like I've been out there with my wedge.
The kick, Douglas at the 6. Douglas out over the 20. And so Duke will get better field position out of this than out of the original kick to the 26-yard line, thanks to a 21-yard return by Chris Douglas. Rodney Feaster in on the tackle for the Clemson Tigers, and so Duke will have it down 14-0 in their best field position of the day, starting field position anyway, at their own 26-yard line. And the key here, Doc, move the chains just once.
On first down. On first down, have some success. What I like about Duke is that they're not turning their cheek. I mean, they're fighting back. I mean, they're showing some toughness.
motion. Turtlejack. Option toss to the corner. Epperson with a run, and Epperson brought down by Carswell. Just shy of the first down, but it's a nice opening play out to the 32-yard line, to 33. It'll be a gain of 7 for Dwayne Epperson.
And that's what we're talking about. When you can capture the edge, see, you get the commitment. Now you have a little grass. Corner support is late, and you have a nice play.
Carswell with help from Altoy Baudrick. And it is 2nd down and 3, and I can safely say that this down and distance hasn't happened too often for Duke this afternoon.
No, not at all.
Play handoff, and looks like a first down for Epperson as they move the chains out to the 37-yard line, and Charles Hafley in on the tackle. Junior from Pompano Beach, Florida. And let's go to the sidelines of Mike Ogwood.
Hey, we've talked about Keith Adams today. A year ago, All-American, led the country in tackles, but he doesn't lead the team in tackles right now. That belongs to Chad Carson, number 46. Not only is Chad a great football player, he's great in the classroom. 3.9 GPA. This guy's an all-around student athlete.
And he's taken it in biological services, so studies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's not an easy course to study, and a first down play is a good opening play for Duke on first down. And Epperson again, 3 straight carries for Dwayne Epperson, and he motors ahead to the 41-yard line.
See, good. Watch the surge up front. See, that's the key. You got the blue hats on the white shirts. You break an arm tackle. You keep the legs pumping, and you get success.
It's a gain on the play of 8 yards. And it brings him out to the 46. Epperson 5 carries. 25 yards on the day, 20 this drive.
2nd and 2. How about that?
Second time today. Inside handoff goes to Hartopoulos. The lacrosse player cuts up near midfield and gets another Duke first down at the 49-yard line. Tackle made by Keith Adams, and Carl Franks likes the rhythm that this drive has.
Every time Adams makes contact, you can just hear somebody has to grunt. I mean, it's always in a physical manner. You know what I mean? The guy's a sledgehammer.
3rd first down of the day for Duke, their 2nd this drive. As you look over the shoulder of Keith Adams. Dee Bryant now, a confidence-boosting drive for him, sure.
Success on first down. Man, Duke is in a rhythm now.
Jeremy Battier, the true freshman, and the brother of Shane Battier, the basketball star here at Duke, is split out wide to the left. Bryant gives him a look, goes over the middle. It is intercepted after it was deflected. This is Mance. Mance on his way back has one man to beat. Now Mike Hart, the only man who can catch him, drives him out of bounds at the 2-yard line. It was intended for Hartopoulos and actually went through his hands and into the hands of Brian Mance. His 3rd interception of the season.
Boy, good things happen to those that are aggressive. And that ball should have been caught, but the great reaction time by Mance, as you mentioned, and every defensive back wants to score. Make the highlights.
57 yards downfield for 1st and goal at the Duke 4-yard line. A saving tackle by the tight end Mike Hart was the only thing that prevented Clemson from going 3 touchdowns up. 1st and goal. And Dantzler brings him out in the eye. Witherspoon is the fullback. Zachary is the tailback. Rare times you'll see them in double tight end set. Zachary tries the corner. Delamelore to stop him first. What a run. Nice. Now the penalty flag at the 1-yard line. Looks like he was down before he pushed the ball into the end zone. Let's see what the penalty flag is going to be. And it's against Duke. It's an offside against Duke. Or encroachment, if you will.
And Steve, there are a lot of elusive backs.
Defense declined 2nd down.
Clemson declines it, so there'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. So the 3-yard gain by Zachary counts.
That aren't real good short quarter running backs. Zachary's not one. He can run in close quarters.
And Dantzler's very close, but the Duke players are saying they stopped him. As they unpile. And it is going to be 3rd down. Delamelore with a saving tackle. How much real estate for Duke to protect down there? Yard outside of the end zone. 3rd and goal. Dantzler, full house stacked in back of him.
Dantzler, handoff Zachary, touchdown Clemson. Travis Zachary's second score of the day as the Tigers take advantage of Brian Mance's third interception of the year. His 57-yard interception return set Clemson up at the 4-yard line, and 3 plays later, Travis Zachary scores from the 1-yard line.
We talked about it in the open. When you make a mistake against the Tigers, they make you pay for it on the scoreboard.
Artophilus taking it hard after that pass went through his hands and then into the hands of Brian Mance. Here's the kick by Aaron Hunt after the touchdown, and it is good. His third point after touchdown today, and Clemson is up quickly on the turnover, 21-0. We'll return after these messages from your local ACC station. Well, turnovers help. Clemson has turned another one into touchdown territory. Clemson 21-0 over Duke. Brian Mance set it up with a 57-yard interception return. And then Travis Zachary took it over from the 1 for his second score of the day. Tony Lazzara in for the kick. And it is Chris Douglas at the 5. Douglas. Kicked by Feaster originally and then finally brought down an 18-yard return. Hey fans, every time you use your Bank of America Visa, credit, or check card, you're entered to win great football prizes in the Bank of America Big Bowl Blitz. Use the card, get in the game. Go to bankofamerica.com/sports for official rules and alternate means of entry. Duke with the football, and really, Doc, when you look at it, the tragedy of the turnover is that on a drive in which they were moving the ball upfield and actually had themselves a nice pattern.
You got to get over it and get right back to basics.
Ooh, inside handoff on a little inside toss to Chris Douglas. Flirts with disaster as Clemson gangs all over it. And in there to make the stop is Keith Adams. Also some pressure there by Altoy Baudrick.
One thing about it, Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, now he wants to send the dogs after him. If he can force a bad play now, get a tackle for a loss, that will really be discouraging for Duke.
Shoulders sagging a little bit for Duke. There's Reggie. Reggie is a character.
Oh, he's a good one. He's a good one. You'd like to play for a guy like that.
Duke blitzing 2. Clemson blitzing 2. Bryant with time. Has more in space, and he dropped it. It was there. He had 2 steps on Crutchfield.
Great patience.
Who's hearing it from Tommy Bowden on the far sidelines. This one is a catchable ball.
Well, Coach Franks knows that he's called the right plays. I mean, the scheme is set. But look at the patience. I mean, you had to know somewhere along there that Keith Adams was in the vicinity. If you're a quarterback, that's 2 passes now been right on the money, and the receivers have failed to cash in.
And one of them was intercepted as it went through Hartophilus' hands. Third down now and 10 for Duke. At their own 22-yard line, down 21-0.
I like Bryant. I mean, this kid has some moxie. He can play. He can play.
Big blitz is on. Adams and Chase with Bryant, and they'll sack D. Bryant down at the 4-yard line.
And Adams.
Third sack of the day for the Clemson Tigers, who had 4 against them last year. Well, an 18-yard loss on the play.
You've got to stay out of obvious passing situation. And in this case, man, if I'm quarterback, I'd ask Mr. Douglas to stay in and give him a little nudge before you go out on your route. Don't let, of all people, Adams run by unblocked.
Bryant McNeil putting some pressure on as well, along with Keith Adams. Standing at the edge of the end zone is Brian Morton. Jordan Reams. And boy, that is a kick by Morton that drives him back to the 43-yard line. Reams looking to pick up blockers. Heads to the corner and is knocked out of bounds. Woodrow Dantzler has been the key for Clemson all year, and this afternoon is no exception. Dantzler with 59 yards on the ground. In the air, the only pass completion he's had to make today in 4 attempts to Matt Bailey, but mostly it's been Dantzler finding, of course, the seam up the middle of the field. Duke trying to keep him between the hash marks. He's taken that to his advantage and goes in here for his score of the day from 12 yards out. Woodrow Dantzler has definitely lived up to the billing.
He's legit.
No doubt about it. He's set up at the Duke 44-yard line. Dantzler to throw on 1st and 10. Has Gardner out there complete in a battle. And what a play by Terrell Smith, the true freshman from Wingate, North Carolina.
Well, that's competing. That is how you compete for the football. I mean, once it's in flight, you're on defense. I mean, you can forget all about defending. You go become offensive, and you go after the football. Boy, that's great. That is a great effort.
Actually, that hometown is pronounced Wingate, North Carolina. No, I don't live that far from it. 2nd down and 10 from the 44. Here comes the toss. Zachary has some room. Close to the 1st down. Let's see where they mark him. They're going to mark him right on the line. So looks like the Tigers will keep the chains moving. 9:55 left to go here in the 1st half. Up by 3 touchdowns. Zachary has scored 2 of them. Yeah.
Well, those tackles hurt to hit you a little shins. Boy, that's painful.
Where you're unprotected.
Yeah, you're unprotected. Always wondered about it. Soccer players, they protect themselves from shins. No doubt about it. But football players, for the most part, don't.
Well, you get kicked a lot in soccer. It happens.
You get kicked a lot in this game. Guys are in the style points now in the uniforms.
More wideouts. Dantzler up the middle. Dantzler breaks a couple of tackles. Will he break this one? Yes. And keep on going. One man to beat, and they won't get him. It's a 33-yard touchdown scamper for Woodrow Dantzler. His 2nd touchdown score of the day. Call it from 34 yards out, and Clemson moves 4 scores ahead of the Blue Devils.
You made that call as if you watched this guy play before. You knew he wasn't going to go down. Boy, this is, and not to discount the effort that Duke, because Duke is putting on some effort. But watch this young man run. I mean, this is a pure running back that happens to have a great arm and a great head. You know what I mean? So he can play quarterback, but you won't find many running backs in America that have a better rhythm than this young man.
Aaron Hunt's been busy today. His 4th point after the 1st half is good. And the Clemson Tigers push out to a 28-0 lead. Well, the dazzling play of Woodrow Dantzler, and watch him make people miss. As Doc said, he's a tailback who can throw.
Yeah, the great ones, you don't go down with arm tackles. That's one. See, that's 2, 3. That there is just absolutely a great effort. Not a ridiculous tackle, but a great effort offensively.
Boy, he picked up a block late on Terrell Smith. Let's watch it again, and watch the block late on Terrell Smith, who could have stopped him from scoring.
Well, that's a guy that doesn't want to go down.
Oh, great block by the tight end, Morgan Woodward. Morgan Woodward helped him, pushing off the last bit of interference for Woodrow Dantzler. And look at Dantzler today. 110 yards total offense, almost to the century mark in rushing. 2 touchdowns. He hasn't had to throw but once this afternoon or for a completion. He's thrown 4 times. And all you can do on the Duke sidelines is stand in stunned amazement.
Well, whoever the travel agent is from Downtown Athletic Club, go ahead and save yourself some effort and make a reservation now. I don't know if he'll win it, but I do know he ought to be there when it's passed out.
Sidelines to Mike Hogwood.
Hey, Tommy Bowden is really still into this game, jumping up and down, screaming, patting people on the back. I talked to Rick Stockstill, one of the assistants, before the game, and I said, you guys are having fun. And he said, Mike, winning is very, very much fun, and that's what they're doing right now. And this is a team that has a lot of confidence, a lot of spirit, and really believes in this Tommy Bowden system.
Clemson has been called for a personal foul. That's why they're kicking from the 20 instead of the 35. Zero is getting ready to kick it away. And there's Chris Douglas, who looked into a tough sun to bring it down.
Well, you look at Duke has averaged 1.1 yards per play to Clemson 6 yards. I mean, that's pretty simple math.
Douglas, like a shortstop, tries to pick it up off the ground. Now he's looking for a little running room and sees nothing but orange as he gets brought down at the 27-yard line. It's a 9-yard return. And it'll set Duke up at their own 28-yard line. Duke Bryant going out with his best field position of the afternoon. But that's the good news. The bad news is he's 28 points down on the scoreboard.
But that's okay. I mean, they're a team. You can be down 28 and still have a chance to win. But you have to believe that you have to get something done immediately.
Bryant on 1st and 10. motion is Jack. Here's the toss behind Douglas as the defensive end. That was Freddie James who put the pressure on, I believe.
Well, that won't get you there.
No.
The thing about it, again, high risk. You can get a gain on the edge, but there's always the risk of the toss. They had some effectiveness when they ran the lead early on. Now, in their best drive, right prior to the interception, they had 4 great runs. You know, inside the tackles, they went right at Clemson.
Nick Eason was the man who put the pressure on Bryant to pitch maybe a little bit earlier than he wanted to. Nick Eason, the sophomore from Lyons, Georgia. And it's 2nd down and 24 from the 10, 15-yard line.
It's hard to run an offense in 2nd and 24.
And now we've got a whistle, and it looks like a timeout. So play clock was getting down there. Let's see. No. Jim Knight says the play clock may never have started. So he stops things right there. Not sure what Jim Knight said, but he wanted to reset the clock as the play clock did not start in the end zone. So now Duke will get the full 25 here. 2nd down and 24. Tommy Bowden saying
Tommy's coaching, man.
Clemson showing some pressure. They bring one. Bryant flips it out, intended for Mike Hart. And Rodney Thomas is back there defending Mike Hart.
So Steve, the toughest part about this game, you work all week with the intent of being successful. Then you get out and a couple things go bad early, you know, and you've invested so much into it. And Coach Franks understands this. He's very patient, but his guys have done some good things. They've just got to have some consistency.
That turnover on a successful drive, I think, really turned this ball game around. Duke 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversion. We got a flag down on the play. We've had several here in the early part.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure. False start. Offense 5 yards.
So back Duke up another 5. And that makes it 3rd down and 29. Procedure penalty.
And this is where inexperience becomes a detriment. If you're a senior, you go in there and you grab somebody by the throat and huddle, and you say, hey, let's get this thing going. But when you're inexperienced, you know, you got to say, hey, fellas, help me out.
Jack split wide one way. Markopoulos to the bottom side of your screen as we look at D. Bryant as he stares at that Clemson defense and sees nothing but orange. They've got some games on there. He's hit as he throws. Intended for Jack, but Jack's pattern was a lot less than what the throw turned out to be. So good defensive series for the Clemson Tigers, and Duke does nothing but back up into a punting situation here. Down 28-0.
Guess who hit it at the end? Guess who put another tattoo on?
Would that be 43?
Yeah, that's Adams.
Keith Adams once again.
I like what Coach Franks is doing now. I mean, the smile, hey kid, hang in there. I mean, that takes a lot. You know, Franks wants to win this thing. He's a competitive man, but he understands the process.
Dear block. Tipped maybe by the Clemson defender as Morton's punt takes a friendly roll to the 46 of Duke. He's been touched there by Joel Gardner. Timeout on the field. Clemson 28-0. Back after this message from Advance Auto Parts.
28-0. Clemson leads, but Duke is still sticking with the defensive game plan. A lot of young players in there right now, like 42, Anthony Roberts at free safety. He's a freshman. Also in there now, J.T. Cape, an outside linebacker, also a freshman. They've got to play these young players, Steve, and get them some experience.
They lost a lot of people through graduation and injury in that defensive lineup. Here's Dantzler on 1st and 10, looking for the big strike. And it looks like he's got it downfield complete. And that is going to be Rod Gardner, complete at the 8-yard line. And it will be a gain of 38 yards.
Again, you want to be competitive. You want to contest every deep ball. And again, I think it's a pretty good little move for the football. And again, Gardner, so good. Put the body position. He posted him up. Did a good job with that.
2 of 6, 55 yards for Woody Dantzler, who has 93 yards rushing offense himself. He'll fake the pitch. He'll stand on the corner. He'll look for the end zone. Touchdown! It is complete to Morgan Woodward. Woodward's second touchdown of his career, the junior from Florence, South Carolina, from 8 yards out. That makes it 34-0 Clemson.
Woodward gets the start. Now he's in the end zone. Did a good job of blocking when he's been in the ball game. And boy, this offense, and they're not trying to pour it on. This is what they do for a living.
That's right.
I mean, they just attack.
It is easy to slow. It is not easy to slow this thing down.
No, you can't.
No. Aaron Hunt on for his 5th point after. Here it comes. So Clemson 35-0. Aaron Hunt. Watch this pass from Woody Dantzler.
Well, it's the fake. See the action? It gets everybody stuck inside except the perimeter people. They played it well. That's too easy. Great action. Boy, I mean, that's what practice is all about. Carrying out fakes, you know, selling the play, sell the run.
It all is part of a scheme that really nobody's been able to stop so far.
Yep.
Virginia wasn't able to stop, even though they are probably the smallest offensive line in Division I football. Tommy Bowden says we hit them and we get them. That's the
cross block. They pull guys. You know, when we say small, they're not 225. They're still around 280.
Yeah.
They have great feet. They're in top physical condition, and these guys know how to play within the scheme.
And it gets better with a veteran team that progresses into the second year of this format. Look at what Tulane did under Tommy Bowden in their second year under him. They went 12-0.
It'll be frightening. 2 more recruiting classes. Frightening.
Interesting. Tommy told us earlier in the week he feels that the difference between his program and a Florida State right now is the ability to get on good defensive players in recruiting and get big offensive linemen who have quickness.
Well, they talked about the premium recruits that they had targeted. There were 8, and Florida State was going to get 7.
Right.
You know, and that's the way it is for now. But if you continue to win, you start to kind of even that out. Interesting watching Florida State against Maryland Thursday night. They start off again in the no huddle.
Right.
And you look at a vision of this offense, but the offensive line averaging about 310. You know, it's
and they don't stay in it, as you said.
They don't have to.
They don't have to stay in it as well. Clemson chooses to. Here's D. Bryant on 1st and 10. And he has thrown for a loss, the 4th sack of the day, down to the 25-yard line. Keith Adams in vicinity, and Keith Adams is one of the most intimidating players in the country, and you'll get why after you hear this.
You just want to hit him so hard that, you know, that he's dizzy or something. He don't really want to get up. He's going to try to get up because of, you know, just his pride, but, you know, you really done ran through him, and you can just feel his back just cracking. So it's just one of the best feelings.
I love that.
He's sick in a good way, isn't he? 2nd down and 15 at the 25. Here's the pitch to Emerson. He's slowed there on the corner, gathers himself, and gets upfield. And making the initial hit outside was Khalid Vaughn, but he's finally brought down at the 25-yard line by Brian Neal. Keith Adams, once again, one of 10 players featured in the College Football Hall of Fame at South Bend, Indiana. Let's take a look at that play again.
Oh, you see the run through. They get great penetration here at the top. Now, this is pretty good. This is nifty, but you know one thing about the Tigers, they converge on the football, so it's just a matter of time. His father, Julius, heck of a player.
Yes, for the New England and Boston.
Huge arms. I mean, I unfortunately ran into him a couple of times. Just stud.
3rd down and 14. Here's Bryant hanging in the pocket. The pass, it is lost out there by Erdeljak. Boy, that is the 3rd time he has lost, or a Duke player has dropped a ball that was there. And you saw Carl Franks' reaction to that.
Yeah, and he's frustrated. But one thing that's promising, the kid has threw a rope. The kid can get it out there. This young man can run it. He can throw it. He just needs some help.
Brian Morton is getting lots of practice today.
Well, you can almost predict the punt on first down when they fail on first down.
Here comes the punt. And calling for the fair catch is Joe Don Reeves. Well, let's take you back to 1989. The 7th-ranked Tigers came in here a 3-touchdown favorite over Duke, and this same date, Terry Allen scores his 9th consecutive game to give the Tigers a 7-point lead. Later in the second half, Clemson led 17-7 when Duke quarterback Billy Ray found Clarkston Hines in the end zone. That closed it to a 3-point Clemson lead. Then with 3 minutes to go, Duke driving downfield. This time, fullback Chris Brown making the reception. A 3rd and 7 play for the score. Duke up by 4. Blue Devil defense shut down the potent Tiger ground game in the second half, allowing only 54 yards. They were 4-0 coming into that game, and it was on this very same date, September 30th, 1989. But it looks like it's not going to happen today. Pass is incomplete to Gardner, but we have a penalty flag down in 2 areas. One, the area of the attempted reception, and the second is back within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage.
It is so tough to defend a ball that is underthrown if you're a corner.
Terrell Smith may be caught for the flag. Let's see what happens here. Jim Knight's been a busy man this first half.
It's Jim. Good to see Big Jim.
Charlotte native.
We have offsetting fouls, ineligible receiver downfield on the offense, pass interference by the defense, repeat the down.
So it washes out. Let's watch the pass interference and illustrate that point on the underthrown ball.
Well, again, once you recognize the flight of the ball, I mean, the arm there, but again, he's trying to stop.
Right.
And he's trying to stop. And again, it's a good call, but it's a very difficult position a corner is put in.
Dantzler fumbled the snap, but pushed himself ahead to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Steve, it's one of those things that by the letter of the law, it's a good call.
Yeah.
But defensively, what else do you do?
Yep, exactly. Second down, 11 yards. Dantzler sprint out to the left. Pass complete to Watts. And Watts will be pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line. He's close to the first down. Ryan Fowler, true freshman. You see a lot of true freshmen and redshirt freshmen in the lineup for Duke this afternoon. Well, let's take a look at the story of this game. Right now, total yards. Clemson, 242. Duke, 2. Only 3 first downs for the Blue Devils. And it came in a drive in which he tossed an interception that was returned 57 yards. Duke, 0.1 yards per play. We got another flag down on the play.
Flag on the play.
Let's see what this call is going to be all about.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5 yards.
Look at the intensity. Look at the intensity in that man's face. He's up 35-0. And that's what coaching's all about. Yep. I mean, you know, you got to push your team to the next level. He understands that.
This is a group that gained 623 yards 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest. They've churned up some yards.
481 last week against the Cavaliers.
A pretty good defensive team, I would say. Here's Dantzler on the corner. Runs into a lot of blue shirts and is brought down. Ryan Fowler is one of those who gets there. Tyron Grissom is also there on the play. Charles Porter. And for only the second time this afternoon, we'll see the Clemson punt.
This is just great team defense. And I love the enthusiasm. These guys don't care about the score at this point. They're playing because they love the game and they realize they got to defend the honor of the university colors.
Somaney with the kick. And it takes a Clemson roll down to the 21-yard line. It is a 47-yard kick that Braxton Williams downs at the 21, and Duke will get it back there, 1st and 10. So D. Bryant gets another shot. He's playing in place of Spencer Romine, who's suffering from a concussion. And let's go to Mike Hogwood and see what Mike's got stirred up for halftime this afternoon.
Well, Steve, coming up, we'll take a look back at what has been a stellar first half for the Clemson Tigers. We'll look at our league leaders as well. Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at our scoreboard and see how the ACC and the top 25 teams are faring today. All that coming up just a couple of minutes at halftime. We're also going to talk with both coaches about what they plan to do here in the second half.
1st and 10, Duke at their own 21-yard line. Bryant straight ahead. Nothing fancy here with about 4:24 left to go in the first half.
Not fancy, but effective.
Alexander Wade on the carry.
Yeah, 4 possessions. ago, they had success leading in with the fullback, and they created a 2nd down and 3. It was the first time in the ball game they were in plus category on 1st down.
However, that drive would blow up 4 plays later with a pass interception.
Did you have to bring that up?
I just thought I'd bring you back to reality. 2nd down and 6. And we got a whistle.
Yeah, so now we'll bring it back. Again, you get in pretty positive situation, then you bring it back.
These things happen to a young team.
It's called youth.
They lost a lot of players, great ones like Chris Combs.
I thought Combs would never leave. The guy was here forever. But they had these guys you just knew they would be here.
Ryan
Dead
Stallmeyer.
ball, false start, offense, 5 yards.
Gannon Shepard.
Yeah.
Good defensive players. And then they have injuries. B.J. Hill, who was a running back last year, but was recruited here as a defensive back. He's out probably for the season. They're kind of taking a look at his knee. And
B.J.'s good. He's helped him a lot.
And Nate Krill out for the season with an injury at one of the outside linebacker spots. 2nd down and 12 after the penalty. Clemson plays it conservative this time, and the pass is complete to Erteljack. Clemson receivers. And we've got a penalty flag. Maybe a personal foul here coming one team or the other. I saw
Tigers. It'll be against the Tigers, but we're talking about some football.
Wow.
Took place at the end of this play.
It's a 12-yard gain, but it's going to go a little bit longer now because of a penalty tacked on at the end.
Dead ball, personal foul by the defense after the completion.
All right, let's watch him set up. Again, here's a young man who hasn't been rattled. Nice set, ball right on the money. Now watch what occurs after the play. So you cut it towards the end.
Looks like Mance was driven to the ground by Jeff Phillips, and then one of the Clemson defensive linemen came up and said, we won't stand for that.
Yeah, Eason said, nah, we don't play that. But he's got to play by the rules.
Handoff goes to Wade again. And Wade breaks tackles and lost his footing. Otherwise, there wasn't anybody between him and the end zone.
Wade was waiting for one of those Tigers to hit him. Nobody was there. Again, forget about the score, and you'll appreciate the fact that these kids are still competing. Now watch the offensive line. Good push up front. See Andrews, 71, the leg drive. Boy, if he could stay on his feet. The band might have started playing.
With carries like that, it would remind you of Randy Cuthbert, who was a great Duke fullback, halfback. Here's Bryant to throw again, and Bryant's pass is complete. And the Duke receivers are under threat of physical harm from their own coaching staff if they drop any more balls today. Hartopoulos on the catch.
I've been in games like this, and you're trailing, and the coaches are saying, forget about the score. It's 0-0. Let's win this possession. Let's win this quarter. And that's what Duke has got to try. Look at Carswell. See, I love Tigers. I always hit. They hit anything that moves.
This is Duke's first excursion into Clemson territory this afternoon. They're at the Tiger 42-yard line. 2:19 left to go in the half. 1st and 10. Best sustained drive of the day. This march started from the 30. Bryant. Pass to the wing, complete to Erteljack, and passes now that were being dropped earlier are being caught down to the 38-yard line. It's a short gain of 4.
I'd be quite honest with you. I mean, they really haven't changed that many things. The kids are just catching the ball.
Yep.
But I like the offense. I see the design. And you need confidence to play this game.
Of the 3 quarterbacks that Duke will feature this year, Romine, Campbell, and Bryant, most observers of this program say this man, Bryant, has the best arm of the 3. And he's shown it with the throws he's made here.
He's got an arm, but it's his legs that will keep him alive.
Well, now we've got another penalty. And it looks like it's going to be a procedure penalty against Duke. Carl Franks brings his quarterback over to the sideline to talk things over. Talked to him yesterday. He says, I've got to be really very realistic.
False start, offense, 5 yards.
And that's twice in this possession.
Coming up next Saturday at high noon, we'll take you to the beautiful facility, Scott Stadium in Virginia, where The Cavaliers are waiting for the Maryland Terrapins. Virginia playing tonight against Wake Forest. Maryland has already tasted defeat at the hands of Florida State, but they've got revenge on their mind for a loss that Virginia handed to them last year when they were seemingly on their way to a bowl bid.
What a game that was. Boy, we had a ball.
Second down and 11. Clemson blitzing. Back to throw, and he won't get it off. Chad Carson gets the 5th sack of the day. Carson from Noonan, Georgia. He's a junior, 6'3", 235, 49 tackles on the year, 3 for a loss coming in, and that'll be his first of the afternoon.
Well, Mike Hogwood pointed it out about this young man. He leading the team in tackles, relentless coming from the middle. I mean, you're a young quarterback. I mean, there's only so many things you can focus on. And you're trying to keep your poise and find the receivers downfield. And yeah, quite frankly, you just need some help from the entire offense.
He had 18 tackles against Missouri, Doc. They had quite a time with Missouri.
And that's with Adams on the field with him.
Timeout on the field now for Duke as they'll talk things over here with 39 seconds left to go in the first half. I think Carl Franks feels it's important for this team to have something positive happen to it here in the first half to build on in the second half. The fact that they've got a sustained march of over 20 yards going now says something. Let's go to the sidelines. A story of a special person, and standing by with that story, it's Mike Hogwood.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Bob Bradley has been a friend to all of us who've been covering ACC football and basketball and everything else for many years. In October of 1955, he came to his first ACC game as a sports information director at Clemson. 500 games later, today, he is still serving Clemson. He is the sports information director emeritus. He is the guy who tallies all those votes for all the all-conference teams. A real special person who always has a smile and been around for a long, long time, and we hope for a long time to come. Congratulations from all of us to Bob Bradley of Clemson. 500 games. I can't even fathom that, Steve. It's incredible, but what a great friend to the Atlantic Coast Conference.
It's amazing. He's been in the sports director emeritus capacity since 1989. He's never seen Clemson play live on television, which I guess is kind of good for us because I got all the critics I can handle right now.
Oh, Bob's a good man. Congratulations. And he and his family.
Third down coming for the Duke Blue Devils after the timeout. 17 to go. Clemson showing blitz. They don't usually back off. Here comes Bryant. The pass is complete to Ben Erdeljack, but he is shy of the first down. He's at the 34-yard line, and he doesn't get out of bounds to boot, so that'll force Duke to take another timeout. A 15-yard reception, but they needed 17 for the first.
Those are the things you try to work on. That's up to Erdeljack. It's his responsibility to get beyond the sticks. Runs a comeback, comes out of the break. Gotta know where you are. Ran the route a little short. And you have to be aware of where you are on the clock.
So Ben Erdeljack gathers around. There's Aubrey Hill, who's the receivers coach. Came over from Florida along with Carl Franks. His last coaching stop as an assistant was at Florida under Steve Spurrier.
Hill was a tough one. Quick as a cat.
And of course, Franks was here during the last time that Duke won an ACC championship. And that year we talked about 1989. We talked about that clip about the game where Clemson was coming in here highly ranked, 7th in the nation. They were 4-0 at the time, and on this very same date they were flattened by Duke. Duke went on to win the ACC title. They were 8-4 that year. And here's the top 25 with a pair of ACC teams up there. Florida State ranked number 2. Many people feel they should be number 1. Clemson number 7. And looking to move into the top 5 for the first time since it's been the first time in quite a while. Highest ranking since 91. The last time they were in the top 5 was in 88. And they lost to Florida State on the Punt-Rooski game. There's a pass for the end zone by Bryant. He just let it fly. Erdeljack saw triple coverage that time.
3 white shirts, 1 blue shirt.
Carl Franks said, well, I guess stop the clock, but we're down to 1 down here. 4th down and 2.
Erdeljack felt like he was held on the play. Let's take a look at it. Come inside the area. Now you should be freed up. There are some hands on you. Can't touch the receiver.
A little fabric.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Got away with one on that one.
4th down. No, 1st and 10. As Clemson will take over on downs. 35-yard line. And here's Dantzler. Out to throw, and he's got a man wide open, Jackie Robinson. And it was on the wrong shoulder. Anthony Roberts in coverage. That stops the clock with 16 seconds left to go. Clemson with really 3 scores in 5 minutes time. This was a 14-0 ball game. And the Tigers with 3 scores starting at the 14:55 mark, and they ended that barrage at the 9.5-minute mark. And that's how quick.
16 seconds. This group dangerous.
Yep. Dantzler, 2nd down and 10. And the handoff now will go to a young man that we'll see a lot more out of, Keith Kelly. Probably see a lot more out of him in the 2nd half. From Walterboro, South Carolina. Yep. True freshman, as time will run out here in the 1st half. The Clemson Tigers. There's Kelly as he heads off the field. Get a good look at that number. You'll probably see it a lot here in the 2nd half as Clemson surges to a 35-0 lead. Pretty much as expected over a Duke team that is trying to get its way through a very tough season, and standing by with Tommy Bowden is Mike Hogwood.
Well, Tommy, your team pretty efficient there in the 1st half. How do you see it?
Well, you get ahead and get lackadaisical, you'll start busting assignments, and defense were playing good. We made some mistakes mentally, offensively.
So what do you tell your guys at halftime up 35-0?
Well, you just want to play the best they can. You know, all you do is you ask the guys to play the best they can, and we hadn't done that. You know, be honest, we hadn't done it.
All right, still some work to do for this Clemson Tiger football team, according to Tommy Bowden. They're on top, 35-0. Our halftime activities from Durham coming up in just a moment.
ACC football is being brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. By Sleep In. The next time you travel, stay at Sleep in a class by itself. By Gateway. Call 1-800-GATEWAY. By Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. By Dodge. In a perfect world, everything would be different. And by Amoco Ultimate. You expect more from a leader, and you get it.
Woody Dantzler and the Clemson Tigers are ripping Duke 35-0 halftime in Durham at Wallace Wade Stadium. Mike Hogwood with you now, and when we vote for our Buick Player of the Week next week, I think Woody Dantzler might make it 2 weeks in a row. What a 1st half he's had. Travis Zachary got the touchdown to get him going in the 1st quarter. That was the only score. Then 28 2nd quarter points. Duke did not have a 1st down in the 1st quarter as that Clemson defense, which we talked about at the beginning of the game, began to set the tone just a little bit, and boy, they have set the tone with Duke. Our play, an incredible touchdown run by Woody Dantzler. Oh, he is awesome leading this Clemson Tiger offense, and he did a good job in the 1st half. Although you heard Tommy Bowden say there were some mistakes. Certainly no mistakes on this play. Look at the spinning, the balance, the moves by Woody Dantzler. One of the touchdowns that helped propel Clemson to that 35-0 lead. Now our stat total yards. Look at this, folks. Absolutely incredible. 241 yards for Clemson. Only 42 yards for Duke. But the positive thing, I think, for the Duke Blue Devils is that D. Bryant, their quarterback, with his 1st start today, has shown some poise in the pocket. Some of his passes have been on the money, and quite frankly, they have been dropped. D. Bryant is a quarterback with an arm, and you can sense some good things ahead for that Duke offense, especially if he can get some help around him. D. Bryant is going to do some good things with the Duke Blue Devils. We are at halftime in Durham. 35-0 is our score. The Duke band out on the field now. What a great day for football in Durham.
This moment in Clemson history is presented by Citgo. You know me. I was a star running back in the late 80s for the Tigers. I was drafted in the 9th round by Minnesota and became one of the premier running backs in the NFL in the 90s. Do you know me?
That's former Clemson great Terry Allen, an All-Pro in 1996 and one of the most feared runners in the NFL in the 90s. As a Tiger, Allen led Clemson in rushing as a freshman in 1987 with 973 yards, a record that still stands. He again led the Tigers on the ground in 1988. Both years, Allen led Clemson to bowl victories, including a Citrus Bowl victory over Oklahoma in 1989, in which Terry was named MVP. It marked the first time an ACC team had ever defeated Oklahoma. This moment in Clemson history has been presented by Citgo. You know me.
35-0, the Tigers over the Blue Devils. I think a lot of people might have expected something like this. Clemson absolutely deserving of that #7 national ranking that they have. Now, we're going to take a look now at some of the league leaders in the ACC, and you're going to see one player who we've talked a lot about today who's leading some of the statistical categories, and that's Woodrow Dantzler, the very fine quarterback for the Clemson Tigers. Now, you talk about passing efficiency, there he is. Dantzler and Chris Winkie of Florida State. They're the top 2 teams in the league. Rushing, well, here he is. Woody Dantzler of Clemson leads the league in rushing. Antoine Womack of Virginia is second. Other statistical leaders, including Corin Robinson of NC State. What a year the Wolfpack are having. And in tackles, the league leader is Byron Thweet of Virginia, averaging just over 12 a game. But there's Keith Adams and Chad Carson having some great games here today. Right now, there are some other games that are going on. Let's check our scoreboard. Time now to show you our Dodge scoreboard. And we'll start with that game that was played on Thursday night. Florida State all over Maryland. I think Florida State certainly deserving of that #2 ranking in the country. Wisconsin, Michigan is tied. Also on our scoreboard, you see Oklahoma and Texas and TCU and Navy. 10-0 is the score there. Northwestern and Michigan State is 23-10, and Illinois and Minnesota 28-3 in that game. Minnesota out with a couple lead at halftime. Georgia, Arkansas, they're in the second quarter now. The Georgia Bulldogs looking pretty good over the Razorbacks, 17-0. 35-0 is our score. Clemson on top of Duke. Back after a word from your local ACC station.